Schiding. I just completed a mural that's now hanging in the Martin Memorial Children's Library. A former Yorker, I went to Central School District. I grew up in York. A donation had come through from the Susquehanna False Company to honor Pete Brubaker for 25 years of service, and also some work that he and his wife Meg Brubaker did for the children of York County. The donation was towards a mural project. I presented several concepts, and the one we went with was international folktale. We used a mixture of familiar stories and some stories that many people haven't heard of. One of my goals was to show that many of the same stories exist in different parts of the world, independent of one another. In other cases, it shows how characters traveled with people to take on new lives in new countries. For example, one example is Friend Rabbit of Puerto Rico and Brer Rabbit of the American South. Both stem from the same African roots and continued to evolve into other characters in our popular culture, like Bugs Bunny. We decided to paint the mural on panels rather than directly on the wall, so it could be moved if need be, and also so I could do the work from my home studio in Berks County. I like all the panels for different reasons. Some are stories that were part of my childhood, some I just had a great time discovering in the same way that the kids in the library can. There are books painted in the mural too, and I'm really happy with the way they relate visually to the books on the shelves beneath the painting. Somehow it makes it look like the mural has always been there. One of my favorite scenes is The Kingdom Under the Sea. It's based on a Japanese story about a fisherman and his journey to a mysterious world beneath the wave.
While Urashima Taro was fishing in the sea, he saw some children teasing a baby turtle up the beach a little bit. He told the children to stop that, and then he placed the turtle very gently back into the water. The very next day, while Urashima was again fishing, a giant sea turtle came up to him. "The baby turtle that you saved is the daughter of the Emperor of the Sea," it said. "The Emperor invites you to his kingdom so he can thank you. Will you go?" Oh, Taro was delighted, and he climbed on the turtle's back and was absolutely amazed that he could breathe under the water. He enjoyed the journey down to the sea, passing many creatures along the way until he finally reached the bottom. And there he saw a magnificent palace with walls of pearls and shells and gems. When Taro went inside the palace, he saw before him a beautiful woman. This was the princess, and it was also the little turtle that he had saved the day before. They enjoyed each other's company for many days, in fact, many months, singing and dancing and laughing and eating, and soon they realized that they were in love, and they wanted to get married. "Before we marry," Taro said, "I need to return home to tell my brother that I am all right." Well, the princess wasn't too happy about his leaving her, and she said, "Will you promise to return?" "Of course I will," he said. "I love you and I want to marry you." The princess gave Taro a small, shiny black box. "Take this with you," she said. "It has something of yours in it, but you must promise not to open it until you return." And so he made that promise. And then he climbed on the giant turtle's back and very soon was back on the shore near his village. But as he walked through his village, he noticed many changes. There were new huts, many improvements, and faces that he did not recognize, which was strange because he had known everyone in the village before he left. Taro was quite puzzled, and he went to the place where he and his brother had lived. But instead of finding his hut, he found a large house with a young man standing in the doorway. Taro went up to him and said, "I am looking for the hut of Urashima Taro. Can you tell me where it is?" The young man looked at him and said, "You have not heard? Taro was lost at sea many years ago. But my grandfather is Taro's brother. Would you like to go see him?" Confused, Urashima said no, and returned to the seashore, still holding the black box. He was curious about the box and wondered what was in it, and so with trembling hands he opened it. A wisp of smoke, his earth ears, came out of the box and swirled around him. Immediately he became an old man with a long white beard. his back bent over, and when he looked at his hands, he saw that the skin was wrinkled. He was shocked at what was happening to himself. And then, from the sea, he heard the sad, sweet voice of the princess. "I told you not to open that box. In it was your old age." Now he realized that he had lost his youth forever, as well as his beautiful princess. For the next 3 days and nights, he stayed on that beach and grieved. And at daybreak of the 4th morning, Urashima Taro stood. "What's done is done," he said. "Now I'll go home to my brother, who is also an old man. He will want to hear about the kingdom under the sea, and I'm sure that everyone will want to hear about it too." And he was right, for he told his story many times to many people.